Okay, let's see. Well, Nick Fuentes, you want to get on to
Yeah, let's talk about your boy,
the Nixter?
The Nixter. Yeah, he's been in some hot water lately.
Yeah, well, he's kind of turned against. Listen, I don't fully disagree with him. I more disagree with his reasonings, but I do agree that I'll just spoil the first line. He says that he asks, what has the Republican Party done for him? What has the GOP done for him? That kind of thing.
Okay. And
now,
I think he's a psyop, but I'll get into that later.
Okay, we can get into the theory. Well, I think it's more that he's how do I put this? Because he's basically taken on the racial identity. So now he's going, what they done for me? Nick Fuentes is a nigger. Nick Fuentes is a nigger now.
Way to rip the Band-Aid off, huh?
What the country done for me?
Yeah. I mean,
do for my country.
That's where it sounds like it's going.
Yeah. And it's because he's so hung up on this white identity thing that he's become what he hates.
But isn't the whole point of conservatism and being Republican is doing it on your own? Is working hard and saving your money, having good credit, paying your bills on time, keeping your word.
Here's the whole point. Is what I'm trying to say is like.
I'm sorry. Everybody can do that and have a pretty decent life, right? Like it's not that hard.
Well, that's the thing is whether or not you like this whole racial identity thing, right? And same thing we've told black people all the time. Whether or not you see things on the news that piss you off about it, right? Sure, fine. Be pissed off about it if you want. But live your life based in what you're doing. Now, Nick Fuentes is in a different category because of what he's sort of been through.
Yeah.
So let's hear him out first before we just go like I don't want to just like I kind of want to compartmentalize a little bit of like Nick Fuentes himself, the man, and the racial identity thing.
Okay.
Because I feel like there has to be that. So let's play.
I'm taking my own side. What has the Republican Party ever done for me? Ever? Does the Republican Party talk to someone like me? And not just me, I know I'm a pariah. But does the Republican Party talk to young white men? Does it listen to them or their concerns? Or does it endlessly ignore them? Ignore them, insult them, deliberately neglect them, consider them a liability? The Republican Party's never done anything for me or for anyone that watches this show. They treated me and they treated you like a pariah. They said, if you're not down with Israel, then you can take a hike. That's what they said at Daily Wire. That's what they said at Turning Point USA and CPAC. And that's what the GOP said. They said, if you want to say Christ is king, you're an anti-Semite. If you're not down with this war in Israel, you're an anti-Semite. And you have no business being in the party. Okay, now I'm not in the party.
So before we go from there, I think it's important to say that he is conflating a lot of people's different opinions into one big thing.
Because not every Republican feels like that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm pro-Israel, and I don't think like you shouldn't vote Republican if you're not pro. That's why I said even with the Trump thing of like him being pro-Israel, that's something we could argue about later.
Yeah,
like that's not something that, and I think that's the thing. They see it as it is something that's like do or die because they are the Zionists. They're the white supremacists that are, ingraining themselves into our lives. Now, the thing too, though, that I do agree with is that when it comes to this whole racial thing and all that type of stuff, and the sensitivity of racism towards black people, the Republicans have played into that a lot too. Like, I totally agree with him. So there are parts that I'm agreeing with him in this beginning, that they are definitely like, for instance, Nick Fuentes should have more defenders than he does. Like, for instance, I'm just disagreeing with Nick Fuentes. I'm not like, I think he should be on YouTube. He should be all over the place as well.
He can do
like,
whatever he wants.
yeah. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. So that's the thing that I think a lot of us on the right too have a problem with, is that because I say I disagree with Nick Fuentes, that means I'm in agreement with his cancellation. It's like, no, not at all. It's two different things. So that's what I just wanted to point out, is that he is kind of just conflating everything, like the Daily Wire, into
Of course, the
what
Daily
other
Wire is
people-
going to be rocking with Israel. It's the Daily fucking Wire.
yeah. I mean, and they're pretty open about that.
Yeah,
Like they're at least not hiding it.
yeah. Well, I think and
I don't agree with it. I think it's
and I do agree with him where it's like, okay, you can feel like how you feel about Israel, but don't push me out because I don't want to be a part of it. So I do feel him on that.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
You can feel how you want to feel about Israel, but don't push me out of the party because of how I feel about Israel. Because that's not what it's about. It's America. I should be able to have my opinions as well as you. So I feel him on that.
Yeah, I don't believe in pushing anybody out for what they believe, because I believe some crazy shit too, or what they say is crazy.
What they say is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not gonna be that person to do that. I'm just saying, also don't do that to other people. Where it's like, as far as us on the right, don't like just say that the right is this. We're not a hive mind. That's the thing we were just talking about.
Yeah.
We're not.
We all think different things.
We think different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally disagree with people that on the right that I know that are there that feel like they're going to put. But here's the thing, that feel like they should push people out because they're not pro-Israel, right? But then the thing is the people who are anti-Israel on the right are not the most reasonable people. They're quick to go, I'm not voting for that guy because he's pro-Israel. Oh, he's a Zionist because he said that Israel's not that bad of a country. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to shit on Israel. He's a Zionist. It's like, people say that to me all the time. Like if I go on Hake Show or something, oh, he's just afraid to talk about the Jews. It's like, bro, I've said more things that you would be afraid to say.
Exactly.
Fucking by yourself in the middle of the night, camping in the woods.
You'll still whisper it.
You still whisper it. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't just try to label that onto me. Don't throw that onto me. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But let me finish this.
And suddenly it's a big problem. So then I say, all right, yeah, Nick Fuentes has no place in the GOP. Well, I'll take all my followers and I'll go to Michigan and we'll do things I won't disclose now. And maybe we'll prevent 10,000 people from voting that otherwise would have voted Republican. Is there a place for me in the GOP now? Is there a place for anti-war and anti-immigration in the GOP now? Have I got your attention? Or am I not supposed to behave that way?
No, I'm sorry. Stop it again. Is the GOP not anti-war and anti-immigration? Did I miss something?
Well, it's the thought that we're helping Israel, so now we're anti. Well, it's just like when they say what Israel is doing is genocide. It's like it's just an over exaggeration of
what's going on.
Yeah, like it is that. All right. The question is this: the ultimate question. Do us being ally to Israel, right? Or, for instance, like these right wingers who are like isolationists, where they're like, we don't need any foreign this and that, right? I think that's just unrealistic for us to not sort of have any kind of foreign trade or any kind of import-export kind of deal going on.
Right.
And also that comes with like, hey, if somebody fucks with me, then you got my back, I got your back.
Yeah, it's business.
It's business. It is what it is. Like, and that's what I don't think a lot of the right wingers, they're not being realists about it. They're kind of living in this imaginary thing. So it's like, I'm not pro-war, but I'm also not anti-war. It's not a thing to be pro or anti. It's like sometimes it happens. Sometimes there's reasons for war.
From the dawn of time, man has been fighting.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's like violence in general. There's things we can do to prevent it, of course, but there's like
sometimes it's unpreventable.
Yeah, it's like what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, you can't.
Unless we have a way to prevent, unless you have a suggestion to prevent it, you can't sit there and just go, oh, America loves war or Republicans love war. Or unless they're starting like, all right, for instance, you can maybe say that about Democrats, right? because they've started every major war that we've ever been in, right? Pretty much, other than maybe George Bush, Iraq.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one. That was
But you know,
I gotta get back for my daddy.
But the point is like, what's the war for? Like, what do we go? Is it justified of why we're going to war? That makes sense?
It does, but what justifies war? Like, I would say weapons of mass destruction.
No, fuck that. That's because that's getting too much in the weeds. Self-defense.
Okay.
A country attacks another country for whatever reason. I think it's permissible for them to fight back.
And defend themselves.
1,000%.
Yeah.
But I'm talking in a specific situation of this country just attacked this country for stupid reasons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the basic of like justified going to war. A terrorist attack.
It's a good reason.
Yeah.
Good reason. Anyway, I didn't want to.
You want to finish?
Yeah, let's finish.
All right, let's just finish it and then we'll continue the conversation.
I guess I'm supposed to sit down and shut up and be ignored and let the GOP pander to corporations and promise to cut the corporate tax rate by 15% and sit down and go to the Israel lobby and pledge to give them the West Bank and unconditional military aid. And they're supposed to pander to the Jamals and Enriques and all the white men that have been their constituency for the past 40 years, reliably turning out no matter what. Well, we don't have a place in the GOP anymore. It's like J.D. Vance said. It's like J.D. Vance wrote in Hillbilly Elegy. He married outside of white culture because they're losers. That's what Vance wrote in his book.
Wow.
He said, we have to be more like the Indians because, you know, his mother-in-law left her job to go and raise their kids or something. Okay, well, you know, if we don't have any place in the party, then so be it. Then I'm going to Michigan. But that's the one thing you're not allowed to do. There is nothing in the world the GOP hates more than its own voters, than their real voters. Not their theoretical desired voters, not their aspirational voters, which is going to be a multicolored, technicolor dream. You know, their ideal voter base that the Republican Party wants, they would love nothing more than for the GOP to be all diversity. And then they can go and they can say, look at how diverse we are. We're not racist. Look at all these beautiful blacks and Hispanics and Asians and Jewish people finally support us. They can't wait to throw the white people that have supported this party for generations into the furnace. They can't wait for us to die off, so that they can stop hearing about our Bible and they can stop hearing about immigration. They're sick of it. You can tell. When a white voter goes to the GOP and says, hey, man, I don't want immigration, they go, ooh, they chafe. Oh, that's not politically correct. Oh, that's not going to play well with blacks and Hispanics.
See, the problem is he's not being specific because there's some that I can agree with him on.
But then there's others that really talk the truth.
Is it the majority? Is he trying to say the majority of the GOP is like that?
I think that's what he's trying to say, but I don't feel that. Like,
I don't know. I can't say
that.
I can't say confidently. Like, yeah, the most of the GOP aren't rhinos.
Now, I didn't know that J.D. Vance shit. That's a little weird.
Oh, he used to be a liberal. He used to be a Democrat. Hillbilly Elegy was basically an ode to the Democrats.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. It's the one thing that made me uncomfortable.
Huh. That kind of changes my view on him.
I think he's mixing up like the liberals' version of diversity and what diversity actually is. Like, for instance, I've been to Trump rallies and the crowd it's not extremely diverse. It's mostly white people. But I was a little like surprised of like how many Hispanics I saw. But this is back in the day. How many Hispanics? I saw a lot of black people. I wasn't like looking at them going like, oh, they're taking over the party. And the Trump is just trying to appeal to them. I think the thing is when we talk about like I want meritocracy back, right? I don't. If there is a black guy who's good at something, I don't know if there is, but if there is a black guy who's good at being a fucking brain, I mean, there is. What's the guy that the brain surgeon that was with Trump? Ben Carlson.
Ben Carlson. Dr. Ben Carson.
Yeah, like that's meritocracy. That I don't look at him like, oh, he stole a job from a white guy.
No, he earned it.
Right. And here's the other thing is meritocracy, I think they're getting it wrong, is that meritocracy doesn't mean all white. And that's what I think a lot of these guys think, is that they think it, like when I was growing up, it wasn't all white. Like there's specific jobs that were all white. Pilot for a plane, for instance.
Yeah.
Always saw a white guy.
Always white guy.
Always a white guy. I don't know why. I don't know why they're better at it. Maybe nerves of steel. Something. Black people tend to panic.
Listen, I don't like heights. I understand why most of my people don't fly planes.
Yeah,
we don't do heights. We
you don't do crazy shit like that.
We don't do crazy shit like that. We'll get on the plane. That's a little crazy in itself, but I'm not flying the motherfucker.
And then when shit actually goes down, that black people are panicky Pete's. They scream a lot. Blacks do.
We're vocal people.
You know how when like there's the old transmissions of planes going down and the captain's like, we're going nose down into the ground. We're about 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
And it's literally like that calm all the way.
Yeah.
We're experiencing engine failure. My co-pilot is dead. I repeat, he's dead.
We're all gonna die in about 30 seconds, so hug your loved ones.
So you might want to pray to your God. Thank you for flying.
Thank you for flying. Yeah,
American
thanks a lot,
Airlines.
jackass.
But you want that guy. You want that guy.
The calm guy,
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I don't even know how we got there. Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, I think the other point that I wanted to make before we move off of Nick is when we talk about diversity in the Republican Party, it's not diversity for diversity's sake. It's
exactly.
Diversity because I'm black, but I think like a conservative. I put God first. I want family. I work for my shit. You know what I mean? Like-minded people like that coming together. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. That's the type of diversity the Republican Party needs.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's kind of where I was getting to. That's what it is. It's not just that guy's black, so we got to put. Now there are some, and that's why I wish he was a little more specific. On who he's talking about. Because so not even so I can like know the name, but or so I can like see it and go, oh, let me go check that person out and see if they are a rhino. Because I'd love to know who these people are more, like just not trying to read it through their fucking speeches. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the thing is. I think, though, it comes down to these people who have really latched on to white racial identity and really built their whole kind of identity on that. And it's just like when people ask me, "Oh, how was the country built by white men for white men?" And I'm like, "No, it was built by Christian men for Christian men."
Yeah,
you get what I mean? That's what it was. It's like they happen to be white, sure. Yeah, if you want to point that out. That's kind of weird to me.
Right.
I'm mixed. I'm sorry. I see race as a silly fucking concept. It means nothing to me.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't. That's where I can't like get behind his reasoning of it being about that.
About that. I got you.
Like even the thing of pro-Israel, anti-Israel. I feel like that's like it's like not that big of a deal for us to be so divided on, I guess.
Because we have so much bigger fish to fry here.
To his point of going, I'm going to go to Michigan and take away 10,000 voters from Trump just to be spiteful. Okay. So you want us to be a communist country?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, do you want to win that bad? Like, do you want to win your argument that bad?
Yeah, or is your like this thing of going against Zionism, this fight that you have in your fucking head, is it that important to you? And that's where I think it gets to that place of this is no different from trying to talk a black person out of not hating white supremacy or not caring about white supremacy. It's like you're just never it's never gonna be reasoned with.
Right. Because they can't fathom a world where they can't be, or they can't not be against that. It's like you can't change everybody else's mind, and as soon as you get that, you're gonna live a great life.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's there's a sect of the right wing that hates America just as much as the left does.
Now, do you think that Nick hates America, or do you?
Yeah, I think he does.
You think he hates America?
Yeah. I think people that think this way just hate America.
Okay.
And they're and I don't want to put this on Nick because Nick has been outspoken, but most people that speak like this are what he's saying. They're fucking pussies. They're cowards.
Right.
And that's where I do offer my however little it is, but offer my my help in that I think more people should stand up for Nick and his right to speak how he speaks.
To speak freely. Yeah.
I think he's totally right in that if he does speak this way, that most right wingers also fucking shudder and clutch their pearls.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've experienced it.
Of course.
You think there's not right wingers that haven't seen our shit and won't touch it because it's our shit?
Right.
Yeah, so we know.
Yeah.
We get it.
But my question to people out there that go, oh, well, I'm just afraid of, fucking the Jews or whatever. What I just said, I would defend Nick and his right to say what he wants. He could hate Jews all he wants. And I would defend him to have the right to say that. Mm-hmm. Would he do the same thing for somebody who's pro-Israel? I doubt it.
Good question.
He'd see them as the enemy and Zionist, and they should be shut down. I guarantee you.
You're right.
I guarantee you. And I'm putting something on him, so I'd ask people who agree with him, how do you feel? Would you do that? Would you stand up for somebody who's pro-Israel and their right to be pro-Israel? Yeah. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Say what you want, but I don't have to listen to you. You're being a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Got anybody in the chat saying anything? I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah, there was a guy in here earlier who challenged something you said. He said that this is from Ice Koozie. The Daily Wire, SPUSA, CPAC, and other orgs explicitly said that if you don't support Israel, they will not associate with you. He isn't conflating different orgs. They all explicitly said it. Now I don't think that's what Chris was saying when he was saying conflating. He was saying conflating as in who was saying it. You named specific people, but I can name other people like Brandon Tatum and fucking
Donald Trump.
I can name several people who say something different in the same party.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's the fact that there's people that want us to be a hive mind, right? And I think like a guy like Nick Fuentes is a guy that wants us to be a hive mind. He wants us to just believe all the same thing, back all the same things. It's like even in things that's why we were talking about earlier. We were specifying there's specific things that I don't think you can call yourself a conservative if you believe certain things. And I think as conservatives, we need to start narrowing down what those fundamentals are.
Those fundamentals, right?
Pro-Israel, anti-Israel is not a fundamental to me.
Not important.
And I think if you think that's a fundamental, I think you're just wrapped up into some racial identity thing that really doesn't affect us directly.
It's the same. It's their version of the white man, boogeyman shit. That Israel is their version of that. Yeah.
And I don't think a realistic answer is we need to be isolationists to not deal with any countries on the planet.
Yeah,
it's like that's not realistic. It's just not.
It's not 1875 anymore.
That didn't build the country that you grew up in.
Right.
Most of you people that fucking grew up in the 80s and the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier.
It was cooperative.
Yes. Import, export.
Mm-hmm.
We're not an isolationist country. It's just not.
To keep it a bean, we haven't been an isolationist country since inception. We fought for independence, and then ever since then, we've been trading.
Yeah.
So
goods, people, cars, Cattle. Cattle.
Cars, cattle. Yeah, you just go smooth right over people. Huh?
Blacks. Irish. Italians.
A few Irish.
Couple Irish. They couldn't hack it in the sun. Yeah, I'm just saying. I think we need to get a little more like narrow down what the fundamentals are, so that way we know. Like, I guarantee you, I probably agree with Nick Fuentes on the fundamentals: abortion, guns. What else is there a fundamental? Free speech.
Christ is king.
See, I don't know about free speech with Nick. That's why I'm saying, would he support a pro-Israel? Not support, but would he
support their right to say it?
If somebody pro-Israel got canceled, would he be in favor of that?
He wouldn't care.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he wouldn't care. He wouldn't look at it like one of his compadres getting canceled. He would go to war for them. You know what I mean? Like,
that's where I think the ultimate free speech argument is. It's not would you protect speech that you agree with. It's do you protect speech that you disagree with.
It's either we have it all or we don't have any.
That's the important question, though. Mm-hmm. That's the moral question. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Hey, listen. Once I realized that, that was like what 3 years ago. I had to stop policing the word nigga. It was like,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, how do you police that? It's like, bro, I don't care.
You're gonna fucking. That's why black men die of stress by the time they're 45.
Yeah,
because they're policing nigga their whole life.
Their whole life.
It's impossible. Just stop. Enough. And these days, the more you try to police it, the more people are gonna say it, which is great.
It's perfect.
Yeah, that's how you combat it, and that's why I think that'll alleviate a lot of people's anger. Is, for instance, if you're getting, I saw a story not too long ago, or not saw, but I know about this story. Mm-hmm. This guy got fired from his job because he they wanted to do a diversity thing. Mm-hmm. So they fired him because he's a white guy.
Because he's white?
Yeah.
Okay.
We wanted more black people in. He sued the company, spent a lot of money to sue the company, but he sued the company and won a discrimination case.
Oh, he won?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's what I'm trying to tell people is that it's white people spend a long time not fighting and not actually doing anything and just kind of sitting back and going, all right.
They got to combat. You got to combat it.
Evil.
You got to combat it.
You have to combat it in every form of your fucking life. Mm-hmm. That's why this shit doesn't anger me anymore. Because I've actually done that in corporate settings and I won. And I was like, oh, all right. I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah, this is easy.
Yeah. You just have to, you know how many times, like, for instance, communism has been tried in this country and it's just like, people just stood up and said, no, we're not fucking doing that. And the communists always, they go, all right. It's just like Kamala with the debates. She doesn't really want to debate. It's all fucking talk. They're all talk.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to find a way to get out of that.
Yeah. So once they see you're gonna fight back a little bit, they go, "Oh, okay. I didn't know you." It's like with the kids, transgendering kids and teaching them all the gay stuff. People just fought back. They're gonna come back eventually.
Yeah.
But you see now, it's like a stigma to it. Once you have that and you're fighting back, they realize a lot of schools have had that where teachers or parents will come up to the school and,
hey, get rid of that gay shit.
Yeah, don't teach my kid that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're what? Oh, I didn't realize.
I didn't know you were active in your children's lives.
Yeah. I was just
sorry.
Yeah, they're cowards, and we kowtow to fucking cowards. That's why our country has been lost.
Yeah. Media. BlackRock, George Soros, usual players.
Yeah.
Marxism.
But you got to look at it. They spend billions of dollars to combat us who have nothing. So that means if they have to spend that much money to combat the people, that means that if one guy has to spend that much to combat the people, that means we have more power than we realize.
Absolutely.
Much more power.
Absolutely.
They're calling on billionaires, trillionaires to fucking chip in money.
Mm-hmm. They need it.
for propaganda, for advertisement of their propaganda.